So,
Winter is coming.
but I have a plan. I actually have a plan. For the first time, it just came to me like that. I'm going to beat the long nights of winter this year. I think the easiest plan is schedule something from 5 to 7. Like work out or make calls. I think if you don't get home at 5 at dark, but you actually get home at 7, it'll all work out. So that's my new plan. I kind of like it. I'll tell you how it goes. All right. So, market. What are you thinking? How's the market? Again, we're watching this regularly. This will be one of our major discussions for probably 2 years running. Our recession, no recession. Your client should be asking you that. And I think going into 2020, which is a major election year and probably one of the craziest ever with all that's going on, this should be a topic that you can reel these off. These are ideas that support no recession. These are ideas that support recession. Okay?
In Atlanta, locally.
In Atlanta. And realize always that even if we do have I don't think it'll be a recession. Again, all we remember is 2008, 2011, which was probably the biggest downturn since the Great Depression of the 30s. This will not look like that at all, especially in Atlanta. For us, a change could actually be just level, okay? But that's a topic. You're going to be smart. You're going to be smart with your clients. Everyone you know, if you can reel this stuff off, because this is, if it was me, I would be intentionally making this conversation happen, okay? So you can appear smart. That's one of the keys to what we do. So let's move on with the master of tech, the master of command, Pete English. Pete, what do you got?
Well, we had a really big shoe last week. We talked about command, and we talked about, let me push this over here for those.
Hey, millennials, who was the imitator? Ed Sullivan.
So last week we talked about opportunities within command, and I told you that on Wednesday we'd sit down and talk about opportunities and how they work. And I don't know, we had a boatload of people in here last Wednesday, so hopefully it was helpful. I'm going to give you about the 2-minute synopsis of what's important about command and how it will help you as it relates to compliance. And then if you need more help, one-on-one Wednesdays, we're happy to help anybody that wants to learn a little bit more about compliance. Command is way more than compliance. I was on one of the forums early this morning, and you can't, I mean, there's what, 162,000 Keller Williams agents? And so they're all over these forums raising hell and bitching and moaning, and very few people were saying anything good. And so I kind of watch it, and I help some of these people out that have misconceptions about command. And a lot of people think that command is simply what we use for compliance and green sheets. It's way more than that. It's way more than that. So what we talked about last week, if you can see my screen over here, the cheat sheet is, if you don't know where you are, hit the red button, and it'll make these icons tell you what's going on. So within command, I mean within campaigns, not campaigns, within opportunities, when an opportunity shows up, and let's just say that we have this particular opportunity right here. When we go into documents, and you have no idea where I am, then come to class. But when people start doing an opportunity, whether, if you notice over here on the left, it says listed, and you see this little green bar, that's kind of the focus point of where I am. And if we're doing a listing, then here are all the documents that we have put in here that may help you. Like the one-on-one might be very helpful if you need a listing agreement, and if you need affiliated marketing or wire fraud. All of these kind of documents help you say, oh, if I'm doing a listing agreement, these are the documents that I need. So they're in there to help you. However, as you get closer and you go under contract, if I click over here, the green bar says under contract, and notice all these documents over here change. So these are documents that you would use when you're under contract. Remember before, we had, 100 and something documents, and you just had to figure out which one you needed depending on where you are. So by simply clicking over here, if we're in the close, here are all the documents that you need when you're going to closing. Does that make sense? So when you go to an opportunity and you go into documents and you're looking for your documents, simply come over here to listed, under contract, or closed. And you'll have just about all the documents that you need. If there's one that's not in there, then hit up Stacy or me and we'll find them for you. Make sense? That's all I got for today.
Fantastic. So what you're saying, Pete, is this is actually going to think for realtors.
That's
Right.
pretty strict,
Yeah.
but
Show you the things that you need. Again, we talk about this all the time. We are trying to, the top agents have the best systems, meaning they know everything that's going to happen before it happens in the deal. That's part of that. You now know what you need to look through to have a successful listing, successful under contract, successful inspection, successful closing. There's a lot of pieces to that puzzle. So that's very good. Realize soon, can't say how soon, but there will be a contract reading part of this, meaning you'll get a contract in, you'll run it through, it'll tell you exactly your problem points in the contract. It'll say, Hank, realize stipulation number 4, this property's in 30319, special stip number 4 only closes 7% of the time. That's pretty cool, right? We know it's a stip that causes problems. Let's put this back up real quick. So, pig roast, we're rescheduling. It is next Thursday, not 2 days from now, but 9 days from now. We canceled because of the weather, which didn't turn out to be weather. But we're just going to suck it up, and the new date is Thursday, 3 till sunrise. Should be a good event. Come out there. I know it's Thursday. There wasn't any more Fridays or Saturdays for various reasons, but all of you, I know in your prime, Thursday was a night out, right?
Got it.
So let's go back to our 20s and just have a big night. There we go. All right. So touches. Let's talk touches. Now let's talk business planning. This Thursday, Amisha and Becky, 2 of our top agents, are teaching business planning. So realize this time of year in real estate, I think you actually have 3 full-time jobs. To me, this is the busiest time of year, now through probably January 10th. Okay? 1, we don't want to quit on this year. There's still a lot of business to be had this year. So we still are active in pushing this year. We have a lot of incredible things in action. We have rates lowest in history. We still have amazing jobs in Atlanta. So there's a lot of good things that are pushing our business forward. But what happens at this time of year? Technically October. What's your second job now?
Complete gym.
Well, no. So, I don't know why I always ask questions. I'll just tell you. So, yes, 2 is holiday and family. So, yes, we all have families, and there's a lot of events that go on for that. So, we do have that added job. But the third one, which I'm calling the second one, is we need to begin now. Actually, it's already past time to begin thinking about next year. Okay? If you wake up January 1 and you begin to think about 2020, you're going to have a very slow start. Because it's been proven, this company's at the forefront of saying that really what happens 3 months from now is really what you're doing now. Okay? So 1, we need to have our plan in place. We need to have what we're shooting for in place. We need to analyze this year, what went right, what did not go right, what's working, not working, maybe up the things working, maybe decrease the things not working, maybe come up with an idea or 2 that we're going to throw in the game next year, but it needs to be done way before the 1st, okay? Or you're going to fall way behind. So it's a busy time of the year for us as agents. One thing that I tell you, I mean, again, at the core of this company is lead generation and database management, okay? We have to be great lead generators. We have to get leads. That's the key. So, this is probably the number one time of year coming up for leads for a number of reasons. A lot of parties coming up. A lot of parties in the next 2 months. That's a great, great way to be. I'd go to a lot of them, meet people, talk to people, okay? Be seen, follow up. Much of my business when I sold was a result of those holiday parties. Also, realize that the biggest time of pent-up demand in the whole year is January 1, well, just the beginning of the year, okay? We start to see that there will be people that every day that goes by, buyers mentally sometimes will go, well, it's getting toward the end of the year, holidays are coming. I do want to buy a house, but it will be a New Year's resolution for us. We will buy a house in 2020. So they there is a percentage of buyers that do that. So they all come out of the woodwork right after the first. When I sold, which was 15 years ago, it didn't happen until the 10th. I'd have agents crying all January 1 to 10th. Oh my gosh, real estate's over. There's no one out there. I mean, literally, you wouldn't get a call because people were finishing up their holidays.
They're returning stuff.
And then all of a sudden, you come back from lunch on January 11th and you have 10 people that say, I want to buy a house. Okay, that's change. Okay, now it really happens the day after. Okay, for a number of reasons. Just the speed of information. So be ready. But the key is we need to be top of mind with our database at that time. Okay? So I would recommend 4 touches. 4 touches between December 10th and January 10th. And they could be multiple forms. They could be any form. It could be email, text, call, social networking. It could be various topics. I would think, one for a lot of people is if you send out a holiday card, there's a touch, right? But we need to be top of mind. I would make at least 1, maybe 2, somewhat related to discussing this, right? Get them thinking about this, okay? 4 touches during that period. If someone's going to be a buyer or seller during that time, you have to be top of mind, okay? People can only remember 2 of anything. You can only remember 2 candy bars. You can only remember 2 cereals. You can only remember 2 real estate agents. Be one of those they're thinking about. 4 touches. You got to plan them now. Hi. Thank you. So be thinking about this. You just can't come up on that time. Be ready. Think about your touches. They need to go out during that time.
And it's the easiest time because everybody's, greeting. They don't think, well, why are they calling me? When you start off with, hey, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Or your kid's coming home. You're just, catching up kind of conversation. It's very natural.
It's very
natural time to re-engage with people you haven't talked to in a while.
Absolutely. So.
And when you say 4 touches, do you mean 4 to the same group of people? So they're actually hearing
every
from
person
you.
gets 4.
Got it.
Right. Okay, so let's go top producers. So we just transmitted yesterday, very good month. We report 2 ways in this office. We report top producers year to date and the month only. This is the people year to date top producers through the month of October. Top teams 2 and 2 only. Been number 1 all year. RJ and Jim McCarty 1, Tara and Gary Gaines 2, Deb and Michael Martino 3, Kathy and Bill Haas 4, Eddie Levin and Sam Klein 5. Congratulations. Top Bruce, 3 or more licensed agents working together. 1, Becky and Dave Evans Group. 2, Nicole Ambrose Group. 3, Ming Joe Group. 4, Providence Group. 5, Alexander Group. Congratulations. New leader at the top. Man in the blue shirt's not happy back there. But there's still have a few months left. Few months left. Number 1, Rocky Kaufman. 2, Scott Morchauer. 3, J.M. Scott. 4, Joe Cannon. 5, Steve Fader. Congratulations. Individuals 1 through 15. Good race at the top. Usual leaders here. 1, Dan Bangs. 2, Cynthia Pierce. 3, Mike Culver. 4, Rob Carino. 5, Brandon Atkins. 6, Denise McEnany. 7, Virginia Moran. 8, Amanda Martin. 9, Toshma Graves. 10, Paige Pace. 11, Jenna Huffam. 12, Susan Eschbach. 13, Jessica Schulte. 14, John Cassane. And 15, Bob Fussell. Congratulations. All right, yes, why don't you put that up?
Good job, Allison.
So this is, this office has a lot of amazing events this time of year. Pig roast, obviously, week from Thursday. We have holiday party at Jean's in December. This might be one of the coolest events we have all year. So in here, this will be decorated. We just a ton of food. Renee and them. Go ahead, Bill.
It's unbelievable. Who's not been to it? Raise your hand. Who is to be your first Thanksgiving? All I got to tell you is don't eat.
Don't eat for 2 days.
There's
Y'all wear tight pants.
and it repeats itself. And we've been doing this since this office opened. It used to be just a few dishes, but it is some of the best homemade food, real creative stuff. It is unbelievable.
So literally that big center
Island.
island is 100% covered with food. So y'all can sign up, whatever you want to bring, whether you're a stuffing or a dressing expert or you're a corn pudding expert, whatever your gig is, it's amazing. And Renee, I don't know where they get this turkey, but it seems like it's cut like steaks. I mean, I don't know where they get turkeys this big, but it's big slice of turkey. So put this on your schedule. We usually almost have 2 seatings. Yeah. Actually, Charlie, that's incorrect. This starts at 1.
Make sure you tell the commercial guys.
If you get here after the commercial guys, you can forget it. 1 o'clock, Charlie. Put that on your calendar.
Mine forms at 11:45.
All right, so Certainty Home Loans, what is happening in the world of mortgages and finance?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Bradley, it's so nice to see you today. I love you telling everybody to party more. There was a party this weekend.
Yes, there was. Biggest
And-
cocktail party in the world.
Yes, unfortunately,
The good guys won.
Yep.
I lost. So
When that Gator's wearing a dog shirt.
I promise this.
There we go.
And I lost this.
Oh, the score's on there. Thank you.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. So
You have to wear that for a month. That's
no. I think it was just for today, or just for the sales meeting. Actually, but,
I don't know about that.
good. It was a good game, so at least we weren't embarrassed.
It was a good game.
So anyhow, we do have some things to talk about. I saw that the meeting was ways to stay out of trouble for you guys. So we thought it would be a good time to talk about do's and don'ts from a lender's perspective when you're writing amendments. Okay? So one of the things that we wanted to make sure that everybody's aware of, and we really haven't had this problem lately, although we used to, personal property. Lenders don't finance personal property. Lenders finance real estate. So when you have a contract that comes in that says the seller, it's in the contract, it says the seller is leaving, 6 big screen TVs, a riding lawnmower, a golf cart, a pool table, and, so forth and so on. Underwriters don't like that. They're going to put a value on that. They're going to lower the purchase price by that value. So I encourage you guys to be careful with that. That personal property, I understand sometimes it does go as part of the transaction, but kind of keep that on a bill of sale with no value. All right, it'll help you guys. It'll help your deal go through a lot quicker. All right?
So you don't mind getting acknowledged in the contract, like Exhibit C, a bill of sale that shows everything at zero?
When you say everything,
Like, let's just say.
if you just started the list that I have,
Right.
it would raise a red flag.
Okay, TVs and such, but refrigerator, stove, oven, zero, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. That stuff, washer, dryer,
They expect that.
they kind of expect that. Right. It's when it starts going outside the box. We've actually seen a car. Somebody was leaving a car with the house. I mean, you can't have that in a real estate contract.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Okay.
Also,
Paul.
home inspections. A lot of agents will ask, hey, when, you want me to send over the home inspection? No. No, please don't, because if a home inspection is referenced on the amendment, the underwriter's gonna say, where's the home inspection? And then the underwriter's gonna have 40 pages of knickknacks to go through and say, oh, you gotta fix A, B, and C, and D, and that might be $20,000 worth of work that the seller's not gonna pay for. So do not reference home inspections on the amendments, don't send it to us.
Yeah.
We're not repair guys
No.
and gals.
Now, obviously, if there's amendment to address concerns and the seller is fixing some things, people have asked, oh, you don't want to see that. Yeah, if the seller is fixing things, that's fine. We can see that. Not a problem. As long as it's being fixed prior to closing. It's when we get an amendment that says, hey, seller, please fix this, 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 and this, and a couple of them are crossed through, like fix the hole in the roof, and that's crossed through, and then it becomes part of the contract. That kind of stuff is not gonna go well for you, okay? So make your life easier and don't reference the home inspection, and don't put amendments through that are crossed out with structural or safety items on them, okay?
Yep. Next one that we have is keep the numbers sequential. So if you hand us Amendment 3, we are going to ask for 1 and 2. I think I have nightmares about getting Amendment 3 and then asking for 1 and 2. And Amendment 1 is the amendment to address concerns, and it's 40 things from the home inspection 3 days
Yeah.
before closing. So try and keep them sequential. ABC 1, 2, 3. That's a J.
And if you need some creative ways around that, see Susan Eschbach.
Well, he's not joking. We're not just-
Hey, we came up with it, didn't we?
Well, this is one of the silliest nonsensical things in real estate. That y'all know what's happening, and so we have to play this game just to present it in a way that's acceptable, even though, yes, you never get an inspection amendment. Do you think we really did no inspection? No, it's just, but you have to play the game right or it's gonna cause trouble.
So I mean, typically what I see happen is there's an amendment to address concerns that kind of lives in this box over here that addresses what the seller is going to do or not do, and then if there's a monetary change, either to sales price or to seller credit towards closing costs, then that lives on Amendment 1 or 2. That they're kind of live in
So,
separate houses.
Anyhow, what we're trying to do is just share a few things to help you guys and help your contracts go through a little bit smoother. Okay, so keep those things in mind. One of the other things we see sometimes, a lot of y'all work with investors. When you're working with an investor and you're trying to get closing costs paid for, now this is only financing. If the investor is paying cash, this doesn't apply. The maximum seller paid closing costs on an investment contract, anybody know?
37%.
What?
2%.
2%. Thank you very much. 2%. That's all the seller can pay towards closing costs when it's investment property. All right. On an owner-occupied property, it's different and it's a sliding scale. So see us as to how much closing costs can be paid. Also, try to avoid amendments late in the game that change the purchase price. When I know you guys are going to do walkthrough. There's maybe some things that haven't been done, and so hey, instead of repainting this room, give us $500. That's fine, but don't take that off the purchase price. If at all possible, just do that as a credit towards closing costs. The reason is we're doing 90% loans 85% loans, 80% loans, and when you take it off of the purchase price, now it changes the loan size for that borrower, and it's got to go back through underwriting. Whereas if you just do the closing costs, we can get that done really quick, like day of closing, quick. Okay. All right. Any questions on any of that?
Got it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. What? Rates?
Right, yeah.
We don't have rates.
That looks good on you.
Rates.
Conventional 30-year right now, 3.8, 3.99. About the same for FHA. Jumbo, we still have a 3.875. I'm sorry.
What?
Is it 3.75?
Yes.
30-year fixed jumbo is 3.75 on a 30-year, and a 15-year is actually 3.125.
And you know, you have inverted yield curve up there. What's interesting, you know that an ARM right now is more expensive than a fixed? Has a higher rate than a fixed. So, adding to that inverted yield curve type
There
thing.
we go, we'll put that up there.
Okay?
So again, it's almost free money in my world, but incredible, rates in the threes, you need to take advantage of it. So thank you guys.
All right. Have a great day.
So let's continue with Susan. So Susan, legal ways to get around this.
Oh my God, what's wrong with you?
I mean, what I do, and again, I don't know if it's right or wrong. I've talked to Lynn about this at some points, but
Kill the camera.
I
You are not being recorded.
I don't do 1, 2, 3. I do ABC. So I still make it an amendment, and it's an ABC amendment instead of a 1, 2, 3 amendment.
And then you go back to 1, 2, 3 after that. I like it. That's my plan. So whichever you do, 1, 2, 3 or ABC, the inspection, that usually comes first. Unfortunately, that's usually your First Amendment. You're right?
Right, Lynn teaches that we use letters for exhibits, numbers for amendments. However, for that one,
So
I
your
use
first,
A too. I do what Susan did.
So you're-
The amendment to address concerns, I typically make A. Amendment A.
Do we need to talk about mortgage fraud at this point in time?
Only if you want to.
no, we're just talking letters and numbers. So, yes, I agree. Why don't you do your inspection or your amendment to remove due diligence as A, and then everything after that goes 1, 2, 3. So, I don't see anything wrong with that. Lynn doesn't either.
It's
So
still
it's
part of the
still
contract. It still
What?
becomes part of the contract. It just doesn't become.
It's not actually changing
it
the
just
terms of the
doesn't-
contract.
It doesn't change the terms of the contract, and it doesn't become part of the mortgage. It's
There you
just
go.
part of the deal between the seller and the buyer.
So Randy and those guys aren't looking for that because the first thing they got was something after that you changed, 1, 2, 3. So I think that's
Still
a
sequential,
right.
ABC.
And that
Well, there
was
shouldn't be a BC, because you really shouldn't use,
This much.
letters are not for a minute.
I wouldn't think unless you actually change something in
Or extend the due diligence, you could do it.
correct.
No, you could keep that in.
Yeah, due diligence would be a good one for 1. Yeah, that could actually come before. Okay, so we have a good plan there.
Also, just a final note on that too, because this happened to me recently, and the agent I was working with submitted amendments, and it was a proposed amendment, it was never ratified. So they went and wrote a second amendment regarding something else, and they counted it as number 2, even though number 1.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, and it's like, no, you don't have, this can't be number 2, because there was never a number 1.
We've had it where I need Amendment 3 that states there is no Amendment 1.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you do A, the next one's 1, not 2. Yeah, you need to explain that to people. All right, let's talk. So, good articles out there. Do you expect the economy to help fuel the housing market in 2020? Why or why not? Here's some answers. There are a number of factors that fuel the housing market. Listen to this. What fuels the housing market? Jobs. Okay, what else?
Interest rates.
Interest rates, yep. What else?
Babies.
What?
Babies.
Babies. Okay, that's
Bigger the house, bigger the family, bigger the house.
Okay, I got you. Growing family. Okay. What else?
Corporations moving in.
Okay. These are all important things to think about why supply, demand, good market, bad market. There are a number of factors that fuel the housing market. Inventory levels, cost of renting, right? This is a layup for you guys. It never has it been this way, that renting costs more than owning. Should be a layup. So cost of renting versus owning, and of course job growth. That's just one person. The housing market will continue to be driven by interest rates. As long as interest rates remain in the 3.25 to 4.25% range, the market will remain as is, with inventory levels remaining unbalanced compared to actual buyers in the market. Another answer, the reduction of interest rates is helpful. However, historically speaking, every election year, the housing market gets a bit volatile and slow. Why is that? Why is that? Exactly. And this year could be the greatest ever, right? And it's going to be the ugliest ever, right? So a lot of people are saying 2020. I don't know, but that is a reason. Okay. How about this one? What impact do you think the 2020 election will have on the economy and the real estate market? Two answers. Home buyers and sellers could become more cautious or maybe less motivated, as they may want to see what transpires. But no matter the result, life in real estate will go on. That's true, right? Everything sells at a price. It's the truth. I believe it is in the best interest of a home buyer or seller to do what is best for them in their current life and not let a presidential election deter them. I agree. Another answer. Historically, home price increases can slow during an election year, but the impact will be determined by the local market. The job market in Atlanta continues to be strong, which in turn drives the local real estate market. Okay? We just got to be able to talk about a lot of this stuff. This is great conversation to appear very smart. Here's another article, how low rates may be keeping the U.S. economy afloat. Lower interest rates are not only keeping the market steady, they may prolong a housing expansion at a time of year when the market naturally begins to slow down. They're talking about right now. This month's report brought the first sign that lower mortgage rates, which fell to 3.75 last week, are indeed providing momentum. When housing is inexpensive, home buyers may not be as sensitive to mortgage rate changes, but in the current market, constrained by both supply and price, it is having an impact. Buyers who might otherwise be on the sidelines are able to qualify for a mortgage, boosting demand and allowing price growth to rise. I agree. So let's talk a little bit about mistakes that agents make. Okay, I'm not talking new agents, I'm talking agents. Okay, we just talked about a pretty good one, right? We need to know how the mortgage process works and how to not shoot ourselves in the foot in what we are giving to the mortgage company that's causing problems where we can avoid that, right? We need to learn how these steps work and how these amendments and exhibits work. It's going to help your cause, or actually it won't hurt your cause. So let's talk about a few. Here's a good one, probably near the top. When agents get busy, their lead gen declines.
Yep.
Right? This is if you can master this, there's no limit to what you can make in real estate. None whatsoever. So most agents will lead gen, okay? And they're all of a sudden I got these leads, business going up, okay? So let's just say we do our lead gen, we did our 4 touches over the holidays. All of a sudden I got 6 buyers and 4 listings, okay? What drops off? What's the odd man out? Because all of a sudden I'm busy, I have less time. What's the odd man out? All right, so we start getting these under contract and we quit lead genning, and all of a sudden we start back at the same place. Okay, everything's under contract and closed. We did a lead gen. So the key to this game, the key to this big game, is how do we keep lead genning no matter how busy we get? That's a great business. I mean, I'm pretty proud of you, even if we're doing this, right? I mean, at least we got stuff going on. We got to get leads. I mean, we're doing something right. But how do we sustain this month after month? where we have 3, 4 closings minimum. We have to have a way that lead gen happens no matter how busy we are. And how do we do that? We're busy.
Touches.
Okay, how do we do it? Okay, busy. I have 6 listings. Next week I have 12 buyers and 10 listings. Okay? What? There we go. Thank you very much, Marty. So, at some point, we need to hire some outside people to make sure our lead gen gets done, right?
Yeah.
Or all the work that happens once we get all these buyers and sellers and contracts is they're taking a lot of that work off our plate, right? Listen to contract to close, all our touches, right? Once we can do that, we have something really sustained. But the key is we cannot let lead gen drop. We have to have systems to make it work, even when we're busy, okay? What else? Anything you think of mistakes agents make? All right, I'll help you. Lack of communication with their client, especially the listing agent. That's a growing problem in this business in the world. No one wants to talk, right? For some reason, because we're in control, we can control everything, because we can choose not to respond. Everyone wants to text and email. And you got to come to peace with this business. This business is a adversarial situation, okay? We have a buyer that wants the highest price. Excuse me, buyer wants best deal, lowest price. Seller wants the best deal, highest price. That is built-in conflict, okay? We have to come to peace with there's going to be a little confrontation in this business, okay? In a nice way, but we have to expect that. This is a volatile person. We're dealing with people's kids and their personal home. People are going to go nuts over something that's just this big, right? So, email and text have problems with it. There's great things about it. There's great things about both, but one, they have no emotion, they have no tonality, tone of voice, and people generally misunderstand or put the wrong emphasis on the wrong word. I mean, you could almost text someone and say, "I love you," and they would go, "I can't believe you're saying that." You know? I can't believe you would say that to me, right? That's all we're doing is fighting. Fighting does not get deals done. It's the opposite. Common ground. So we have to, Gary would say this, we go online to get offline, okay? Online's great. There's a great lead source there. Great lead gen, but once we have established that, we need to get face to face, right? Because we have a touch, and we have eye contact, and we have tonality, and that's where stuff happens. And especially when deals are going south and bad and wrong, we got to call. And even better, we got to get face to face. You know how many deals can be solved if you'll just go meet with the person? And they go, "Oh no, that is not what I meant." I mean, you'd be amazed how many things work out. This is a big one. Here's one. It happens every other day. Not reading your contract and counter offers that come in.
We're supposed to do that?
Exactly. I understand. We're busy, and you talked on the phone and said, "Hey, this is what we're doing," but you never actually saw that that's the way it was written.
Right.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
right before closing,
Gotcha.
no, we're not doing that.
Right.
Well, you signed it.
And Brad, so
Right.
they're not reading when they're some of them I don't think are reading the whole thing
Right.
when they're signing. Well,
They're not
you
reading
can-
when they're signing. Some aren't even reading it when they type in the contract. I'm just saying, you get contracts in that go, "Well, holy smokes, they had no price in it," or you get crazy stuff. Yes.
Because lots of times people have assistants, and assistants really don't know what they're doing. So they send over something to you, and which I got, and said, here's a binding contract. Go ahead and send it on to the lender. Go ahead. I'm looking through. That's not the binding. That's missing. That's not a binding contract. So I sent back, and you're missing this and this and this. That's not binding. I get, oh, okay, sorry. Here's the one. I get another one back. It's still not binding. It's not the right one. So I mean, this is from big time agent, you know, and like, and they just pass off their assistant. So you have to be like, you become the de facto. Like, we have to just be careful when you get something from. You got to look through the whole thing.
Well, we had a situation where we had about 6 or 7 STIPs representing the buyer, and one of the things we asked for was a area rug and a painting. And we show up 24 hours before closing, they're both gone. And we call the other agent, like, well, I didn't see that. Maybe if you read the contract, you would have, that you signed and your client signed. You gotta read all those STIPs.
It's important. It's important.
I left your name out, RJ was the list.
I remember that deal, Bob.
And I have,
Thanks for
so
stepping in.
also, when your sellers are moving, look at the seller's disclosure.
Yeah.
Because I had somebody move like a 12-year-old washer and dryer. My buyer, they wanted it, it was listed as staying, and they said, well, we'll start with that, that gives us time to shop.
Right.
So they moved it, and we said, well, but the problem is, we could go buy one somewhere, we have to go find one that old, you know, we want it back. You know, because we just wanted to move in and have a couple of months to find one.
Right.
So this woman, who'd not read her own writing, had to move it back. I mean, just, you know, because we just wanted it to be there.
It's important. You got to take a little time, even if you just talked and you agreed on it. You got to. Same thing with STIPs. I think as a group, we're horrible STIP writers. STIPs are who, how, what, when, where. We're trying to get as much detail as possible where there is no confusion between both sides. I don't know how many times I read STIPs where it's like, you think you've agreed, but this is what they think you agreed on, and this is what you think you agreed on. We can't, that's not good for contracts, right? It's not at all. I think that's,
If you're not using the already approved GAR STIPs, let someone else read it before you send it.
Right, that's a good point.
I'm not volunteering for all of them, but, you know, even a trusted colleague in the office, let somebody else read it to make sure it answers all the questions and it's clear.
Lynn is very responsive, so I've always, if I have a question or something about a STIP, I'll just email her. She's usually within a half an hour. She's returning your email or phone call.
ask the question. Ask the question. I mean, if your gut says, something's wrong here, ask somebody, okay? Here's one, not reviewing the seller docs and docs for your client. I mean, that's what we do. Our biggest proof of our value is how many times we can actually go. I mean, these people don't do this every day. They do it sometimes once or twice a lifetime. We do this all the time. So don't assume that they filled out the disclosure correctly or that they filled out the homeowners association thing correctly. We need to review this stuff. Or even the closing statement. That should be sent to them and you go over that with them. It just shows your value.
And yeah, when you're representing the buyer, don't make an offer until you've gotten those disclosures and your client's had a chance to look at them.
I mean, how big a superhero
Who
are
knows
you
what you might find?
if you go over the closing statement and you actually find stuff that's wrong, that when it changed is in your client's favor, right? Thank you very much, Virginia. That's why you're my agent. I had no clue. Got to read this stuff. Here's one. Here's a good one. So, husband, wife, your client, either or seller, buyer, husband, wife, you just assume that one of them's the more important.
Ooh, you're gonna pick the wrong one every time.
You only do that once or twice, right?
I don't know about that. I've made that mistake.
Right. They're both equal. And even in your communication, even if it's obvious that one at your listing meeting was in charge, and then you get an offer in and you only send it to that person.
And another little point on that, if they're in a divorce or getting a divorce, it's even more important.
And it's best to do email to everybody on those.
Yeah.
So you're protected.
Hopefully these are jog your memory a little bit, but again, the more of these things we can avoid and get better at, become experts, that's where business soars. That's where people just know you're good.
Brad, doesn't that even apply to eye contact in a one-on-one meeting? eye contact with both husband and wife,
Yeah.
and not just focusing on one or the other.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that is important, Charlie.
The one who's looking down.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, sometimes you realize, you go, oh my gosh, it's been 30 minutes, I haven't looked at this person, they're over there, No, exactly right. I mean, you're treating them as equals, probably asking questions of both, that sort of thing. It's important, very important. I mean, a lot of there's probably listings you didn't get just because of that, Yeah. Home Pro.
I figured someone would remind you at some point, right?
Home Pro brought a great breakfast.
Oh, yes, first breakfast. Hope everybody liked it.
Actually, a top breakfast.
Any other business cards for a raffle?
All right, I will let you do that while I chat a little bit. Just a couple minutes.
I don't know what we're getting, but.
I'm with Home Probe, the home inspection company, and if you guys noticed this flyer handed out, there is a drone on it. And one thing that all of our inspectors now carry with them is a drone to every inspection. So first and foremost, they will get on the roof. That is their primary objective. It's a 4-story townhouse and it's pouring rain, and that's not safe, then they will have a drone. So you can guarantee that you will have pictures of the roof no matter what your inspection.
Can they go up in the rain?
They'll go up in the rain, yes. We ask them to, value their safety. If it's, a 1-story ranch and it's sprinkling and they can easily get up there.
I mean the drones.
Oh, the drones, absolutely. Yeah, the drones will. And we can always go back if it's a monsoon or really horrible, we can always go back and do the roof pictures later. And here I have one more quick thing. I have a quiz question for you guys. This is a $10 Tzatziki's card. Who knows how many hours of continuing education are required for home inspectors per year in Georgia?
0.
Yeah, I don't know who said it first, but yes, it's 0. So I wanted to let you know that all of our home inspectors are ASHI certified, and ASHI on its own requires 20 hours a year. So that's a little something that we can add to the table that not every inspector will have. So I don't know who said that first.
There's a guy back there.
Eddie.
Sound like Eddie to
You
me.
think Eddie? Okay. All right. Well, now you got some lunch. All right, and then let you pick this. And if you guys ever have any home inspection questions, even if you don't use Home Probe, feel free to give us a call. We're always happy to help.
What's the AT-AC amendment writing tool? Can you briefly share that?
Yes, we have an ATAC amendment to address concerns that is with our report that makes it really easy to pull that out. So instead of having to go through the whole report, you can click on the picture or the thing and and then it will automatically make the ATAC right there, and you just click on which ones you want to be in the ATAC.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna organize a class to actually practice.
Yeah,
doing
actually,
this.
we just booked a lunch and learn. Rael Levin, who's been one of our inspectors, he was one of our inspectors for, 15 years, just got out of the field. He's going to do a 1-hour lunch and learn on December 5th, sort of all things home inspection. Not necessarily Home Pro, but just home inspection in general. So I know she'll give you that info, but keep that in mind.
After Thanksgiving.
All right. I can't read that. John Green. Yay.
John Green. All right. Congrats, John. So, a lot of cool stuff. I mean, a lot of tech. Tech causes problems. Tech causes great innovations. This was a new one on me. Arden did a deal. Her buyer, roof questionable. What we want out of contractors, one thing is speed, right? Like we're on a time crunch. We only have 10 days due diligence. Doesn't work to say, hey, I'll be out in 5 days, right? So called a roofing company that actually said, we don't need to come out. Google Earth, totally looked at the house, and then said, we have someone drive by just to make sure we got the right address or right house. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Was that the one I gave you?
No.
Renee does that. It takes them about 24 hours, so they have specific tools for that.
Yeah, I mean, but it was quick getting
Dead
quick.
on.
Yeah, definitely quick. Okay, so looks like didn't have time to dry our hair after the shower this morning. So Renee, come on up. Come on. Oh my gosh.
kids today.
But she's so intelligent, we don't care, so. All right, so what's happening in the world of legalese?
Hey Renee, at least you have hair, okay?
I didn't dry my hair either.
Okay. So for new agents, this is a rarity, but I actually have a PowerPoint for my tip today.
No way.
Yes.
Get
Believe
out.
it or
Look
not.
at you.
I know. So people ask us all the time about title insurance and when title insurance comes into play. Do people ever use title insurance policies? How do I do it? There you go. Right?
Yes.
Look at you go.
I didn't do it. I can't take credit for it. But
Thanks,
okay.
Brandy.
So title insurance. I'm going to give you a real life example. It's a claim that happened in our office. An investor, this thing's going faster than I am. An investor purchased a piece of property, paid cash for it, $70,000. He got an owner's policy for $315. That's what the owner's policy cost him at closing. Title report certified, seller was the record title holder. We did everything right on this transaction. Everything was clean on the title. Everything was buttoned up from top to bottom on the file, and we closed, thought everything was fine. Ted tears down the house and gets ready to start construction. Before he started construction, he was contacted by another agent saying that his deed had been recorded after the property had already been conveyed to someone else, that he was not actually the owner of the property. Then Ted gets a letter from the attorney representing the company that claims that they own the property, saying that he's the owner, Ted's not the owner. Ted is not happy at this point. So what happened? How did this mix-up happen? So 3 conveyances back in the chain of title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Transaction handled by an attorney. It wasn't a matter of people writing their own quitclaim deeds and recording them willy-nilly. The imposter seller signed a deed conveying the property. That's the bad guy, way over on the left. I know. So, how did they impersonate the owner, you may ask? So, in 2014, property was conveyed to a company, and then the sole owner of the company died. Left the interest in the property to the estate. I'll show you the clicker. Thank you.
Try that word. Use the arrows.
Okay. The fake seller registered with the Georgia Secretary of State a new company. The one that owned it was ABC Inc. with period. They registered with no period. So if you pull the records, it looks very similar. Anyone know how easy it is to register an LLC or a corporation?
Yeah.
Very easy. You virtually have to provide.
What are we teaching here, Renee?
We're teaching many valuable lessons today.
This goes with the mortgage fraud lesson.
So then, the fake seller sells the property. We assume the attorney handled the transaction. We assume, just like on everything that we close, we require the articles of organization, proof that the person is actually, either a principal in the company or a president or something. Had all the fake paperwork in line, gave it to the attorney, and sold. And then the deed, the attorney transferred it, put the dot after the ink. So to anybody coming back and looking at the chain of title, it looks like it's been transferred properly. So that property, here was the bad guy. They sold it to another person again, so it's been sold twice now without having actual ownership, and then we handled this transaction, sold to poor Ted in the glasses over there.
Square Ted.
So after Ted's closing, the administrator had conveyed the actual owner conveyed the property to another corporation, and that's the corporation that came after Ted, saying that he wanted the property back. So what happened? Since Ted had purchased an owner's title insurance policy, he filed a claim with the title insurance company. So Ted didn't have to go to court. The title insurance company looked at the claim, they hired somebody, they paid for somebody to represent Ted, paid for an attorney to represent, they negotiated a settlement with the true owner of the corporation, and They actually got a deed from the corporation into Ted, and Ted ended up with the property. Yay! Yay! So
Did they
excited.
Did they
So
catch the
excited
bad
for
guy?
Ted. No, he's the bad guy. So, really the point that I want to drive home is $315 when he purchased the property. And he ends up getting the property back with no money out of pocket. He didn't have to pay the attorney's fees, the court costs, or negotiate settlement to the corporation. The title insurance took care of all of that.
So I'm just curious, so the title insurance had to pay off the corporation?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea what they paid them?
Could the
But I mean, it
corporation
could be
just
like
said, we
70,000.
want the property, you
Yeah.
know, the heck with you, and then he's out all the cash.
They
he put
could
into
have,
it.
well,
They
in
would've
that,
pumped him what he paid
in
for.
that case,
Right.
in that
Right.
case, title insurance company would have given him,
But that's sometimes one of the remedies that occurs,
Yes.
right?
yeah.
But he's right, he would've been
So
involved.
315 basically saved him the $70,000 he paid for the property plus all of the court costs, attorney's fees, etc.
This is one of your big duties as a real estate agent. You have to be able to explain
Why you
This-
need title insurance.
right to your client. Hopefully in under 30 minutes, you can explain it, get it down to 2 or 3 minutes, but we need to be able to explain, okay, why this is important. Just tell this story. This is, right. This has happened to me before too.
Renee,
Right.
I've been hearing regularly on the radio this advertisement for a service where you can pay to protect your deed so that nobody hijacks it. The reality is if you have title insurance, that, I mean,
Yeah,
you
the
would never
title
need.
insurance is a protection.
It's
You
a
can't,
scam.
Get your
It
people
is
to
a
buy
scam.
title insurance, just non-negotiable.
Well, the bank requires title insurance to cover them, right? So
was
then
right.
they-
Well, and
Well,
that's,
if
yeah.
it's- if there is a.
If it's a cash.
If there's a lender, there's gonna be.
yes. And this is
Not
something,
for the-
It's different. There's
But
two.
it's not owner's title.
well, and this is something that I tried to explain. This is something
Hey,
that, stop interrupting. This is something I tried to say to tell buyers. So a lender will not close a transaction unless they have a title insurance policy. And the lender's policy is essentially their owner's policy. So that if they ever foreclose on the property, they have an owner's title insurance policy. Like if your lender who's lending the money won't close without it, you know, why do you think that you don't need it? Why do you think that you're the exception to this? So that's something, people get confused. The lender's policy does not protect the buyer at all. It is their own, it's essentially the lender's owner's policy for themselves. Yes.
What's your, overcoming the objection on a cash buyer that says, well, Gannett, if you've done your job, why do I need title insurance?
For this reason.
For this reason, because we can do our job all day long, and it doesn't prevent somebody from going and filing a lien on the property, you know, the afternoon before closing, the day before closing, some fraud, something like that, something that comes up on the survey.
Misrecording.
Misrecordings. And one thing our firm does, and most of the other major firms in the area do as well, if it's a cash closing and the person decides not to get an owner's title insurance policy, our attorney's fee increases. So usually the big objection is you're gonna pay X amount anyways, you might as well pay and get the policy instead. Yes.
Can existing homeowners that don't have title insurance pick it up long after they close?
They can, they have to pay for a title exam, we have to run a new title exam on it, and then we can issue a policy. Liz?
Yeah, if there's something that comes up after closing with the property, maybe easement or whatnot, are they still protected if they didn't get a survey? If they get the title insurance?
Yes.
So you don't actually have to have a survey?
You don't, a survey is not required for title insurance.
Right. And they're still protected
Mhm.
as if they had gotten one?
Well, if they get a survey and it shows that there's a problem on it, the policy is not gonna protect them. The policy is not gonna protect them for issues that they already know about.
So
Which
Liz,
leads
what's your?
them- Which is a whole nother class.
Right.
to take.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a whole nother topic.
And I just want to say, in 2 weeks, Renee's invited those who want to come to her house for a mock closing.
Not my
So-
actual house. Not so much my house.
So if you have not experienced a closing yet, in 2 weeks, then I'll give you the date. We're gonna go see Renee and she'll
Yeah, at her office.
school everybody.
Will there be wine at your house?
Just kidding. We're gonna be different.
Okay.
Real quick, in the mock closing, we go over in detail the settlement statement. So, I mean, that's kind of, I give you tips about closings in general, but we go over the settlement statement in pretty great detail. So it's a good way if you're not familiar with it. like Brad said, adding value to your clients, being able to explain and answer questions it's a huge resource for you, or a huge resource for your clients if you know how to do that. Yes.
I know that the owner can get the title insurance after the closing. What is the maximum time frame after closing?
Our
that they
exams
can-
expire in 30 days.
30 days. Okay.
Great PowerPoint, by the way. Just.
We don't do that every time.
And we're happy for Ted, so.
Ted's so happy.
Questions and caravans, what do you got?
Who's doing Susan's?
I have Susan's. Susan asked everyone to come into her caravan today. Everyone should have a flyer on your table.
She'll teach you how to stay out of jail.
What is it now?
She'll teach you how to stay out of jail.
That's right.
Yes, yes. So if you have a chance to come over and see Susan at her caravan.
Any particular address?
64 Beverly Springs Drive, Atlanta, 30328.
Okay, nearby, very nearby. Okay, what else? Who else? Buyers listing. Okay.
Two in Dunwoody, one coming up today. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but it's going live today. Verdant Forest, 439. I sold the exact same footprint at the top of the subdivision for 550, so there's plenty of room to get in there and make improvements. 6-4 in Redfield for 7.25 going in, and then a horse farm in Milton at 1.1 million with stables on a lake, 4.8 acres that backs up to 100 acres of protected land.
Nice. Sounds good. Like that. Okay, what else? Rashad.
Got a new lot just listed over in Capitol View, 1313 Metropolitan Avenue. It's zone R4. However, the seller is in the process of getting it rezoned because it sits in between a number of commercial buildings, and it backs right up to the Murphy Triangle where a lot of the stuff is going on with the development over in the West Side Beltline. And then I have another property that's hitting the market next week over in between Berkeley Park and Collier Hills. It's built in 1965, so it needs to be updated, renovated. However, we'll be going on the market for around $450. The schools are amazing over there. It's just over 2,600 square feet. And if you got investors, the ARVs are about $650, $700 over there. So that'll be in the market next week.
Nice. Who else's address was, or street number was 1313?
Mockingbird Lane.
The Munsters.
There you go. There you go. The monster. Bill obviously watched way too much TV as a kid. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I have two coming soons of two very quaint bungalow in East Point, right at Jefferson Park. It'll be right on the path that's coming through there. It'll be just shy of 200. And then I have a 3-2 townhome in Tucker coming soon. It'll be probably mid to high 200s.
Very nice. Who else? Okay, after this you have.
We have an open house boot camp, and we have just an all-star cast. Tosh McGraves, Ashley Wilbert, Kiana Collins, and Cindy Johnson. Woohoo!
Okay.
Woohoo!
Again, my whole career was built on open houses. There is expertise in how you do an open house. There's expertise in how you do an open house for another agent. You need to learn this stuff. All right. Thursday, business planning with Amisha and Becky next Thursday. Pig roast. Thursday at the house of Bill and Kathy House. This Thursday is business planning. Next Thursday, pig roast. All right, y'all have a good one.